Okay. Okay, very good, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. As mentioned before, I would love it to be an interactive session because the topic is very, I would say, subjective. It would mean things like career success, goals, will mean different things to everyone. So I would love to hear your perspective on what I'm talking about today. And today is the 11th part of the Career by Design series, which I'm running on LinkedIn every Wednesday lunchtime. Every topic is under the umbrella of designing your dream career. And today's topic is measuring career success, milestones, reflection, and celebration. So I'm not going to go through this in details because Eva knows it by heart now, and so does Frances. So just for Evie, who is joining us for the first time, the reason why I'm talking about the career management areas, topics, themes is because I myself have spent more than 25 years in the corporate world, in finance and strategy at top financial institutions at various levels of the organization. I've been there, I've done it, and now I've decided to share my experience and my knowledge with others, typically the younger versions of myself, women high achievers who are who want to make the next step in their career. I pivoted to coaching. I've been coaching for many years, but now it's my full-time job, and my passion is to empower female high achievers, especially because it's still very much difficult for women to climb the corporate ladder and to at the same time to manage everything else that they have in life. So that's me. Career by Design, as mentioned before, it's a series of 13 events. Today we have an 11th event. After that series, there will be another one, a slightly different topics, but still the same angle, how to craft your dream career and how to think about career strategically. I'm hosting them on LinkedIn at 12 o'clock. And Evie, I noticed that you joined an hour earlier, but it's 12 o'clock UK and 11 o'clock Central European time. It's designed for high achieving women in the corporate world, although what I'm talking about is, I would say, they are universal themes. They are important and relevant for men as well, but here we are focusing on women to help them take control of their career journey and achieve long-term success and fulfillment. So if this is what you want, please do join my community and please subscribe to the events. Now, the last point is that Career by Design is a proactive approach where you take charge of your professional journey and design your career that aligns with your passion, skills, and values. And I'm always saying that if we don't take control of our career, someone else will, or it will just happen anyway. So it's useful and beneficial to think about our career long-term, what we want to achieve, and take control over it. Now, enough of the introduction. Today we are talking about measuring career success, milestones, reflection, and celebration. I would like to present my own view on career success and what it can mean, but I also acknowledge that it will mean different things to everyone, and you may have a different view. Hence my request at the beginning to please share your views while we talk about this very important subject. So we will discuss how to redefine career success beyond promotions and salary, which is a traditional view of corporate success. We will also try and identify, talk about how to identify and celebrate personal and professional milestones, because it's all good about celebrating achievements, but the first question is, how do we define those goals to be aligned with our definition of success? I will also be talking about developing a regular reflection practice for growth and what are the strategies for a fulfilling and successful career. And of course, because we are talking about women and women high achievers, we will also be looking at the unique challenges and opportunities that women face in their workplace in the context of a fulfilling career. So here is the question, like, what is your definition of success? We will be talking of all kinds of definitions of success. I would like you to hold the thought for a second, and I will come back and ask you what is your definition of success, but I would like to go through various angles first and share my view with you, and then I would love to hear from you. So the question is, how do we define our career success? What are our values? What fulfills us? And what impact do we want to make? Those three questions very much define our career success. And this is what I would like us to start with always. Like, as I said so many times today, success will mean different things to different people. And before we go for the traditional definition of success, it's useful to sit back and think of your own values, your own objectives, and your own definition of what is the positive impact that you want to make. It is so subjective in nature, success. There are traditional views, but there will be different views on personal level, of course. And I encourage you to define your personal and professional success beyond what's traditionally considered as a success in today's world. So beyond the obvious, traditionally, promotions and salary would be seen as the measures of success. We typically think about people who are at the top of the corporate ladder as the successful people, because, of course, salary goes with us. But I would argue that traditional metrics don't capture the full picture of career success. To me, there is a holistic framework, not just promotions and salary. It's important to look at your personal fulfillment. So how satisfied and aligned are you with your work? Does your work matter to you? Of course it does, because it pays your bills. But does it matter beyond your salary and beyond your corporate title? How does your work contribute to a larger purpose or cause that you care about? It's important because I've been now working with women, at least a couple of them are coming to me to redefine their concept of success. They are successful women in the corporate world, but there is something that is lacking. There is something that they can't capture yet, and they don't know what it is, but they do know that what they are doing is not necessarily what they think a successful career would be. And it's really ironic, because they are successful women and having a really good career if you look at it from the outside, but in their inside they don't believe this is all that that they can achieve. I will be coming to this concept later on as well, and how people define what it's meaningful for them. But holistic framework is very important. Learning and growth is important as well. So there are a couple of questions beyond personal fulfillment and impact. Like, are you constantly developing new skills and knowledge? And there is this reflection prompt: what truly defines success for you? And I have just noticed my typo in obvious, which means no one is perfect. I couldn't notice it before, but it doesn't matter. So let's go back to promotions and salary, because it's something that really drives a lot of us. And when we are young and we want to start our career, we look at people who are very, very successful and we want to be like them, because we know that with authority or with the corporate title, if you like, comes a lot of credibility in the society and a lot of respect. So we all want, maybe not all of us want promotions, but we do want good salaries. However, promotions and salary miss the impact, learning, and fulfillment. So we can be going through all the corporate ladder quickly and full time. Question is, do we look back and see if there is any impact, learning, and fulfillment? In other words, what are we doing for ourselves in work beyond the salary that we are getting? Now, and of course, relying on promotions and salary is tricky because it can be influenced by factors beyond our control. So we may think we are ready for a promotion, but someone else may have a different view, and it may have nothing to do with our credibility or our achievements or our knowledge. Just there is a different vision in the company, and we may not go up as quickly as we want. And of course, promotion, salary, this creates a competitive and discouraging collaboration. And I would say, especially for women, it's hard because we oftentimes find it difficult to find ourselves in this highly competitive environment. And of course, the motivation then is to focus on external rewards that can diminish our internal intrinsic motivation. And of course, as I said in the very first point, it doesn't capture the positive impact of your work. But the question then is, shall we not care about promotion and salary? Not at all. We do need to care about promotion and salary, absolutely. But it should be one part of what we consider success in work. And again, my view, I would be very much interested in your look at this. Okay, so before I go any further, I will go into how to redefine success, how to look at what you do from a different view, whereby promotion and salary is important still, but it's not the only factor to feel successful and to design your successful career. But before I go any further, I would like to ask you, and maybe I will start with you, Eva, and then go to Evie. What does success mean to you, success in work?
Thank you, Isabella, for your question. For me, success is I need to be okay with my value and my passion. My value about human relations, about integrity, about impact each other and to go high together. That's very important for me. And if I can impact my environment and people around me by my work and what I am, this is the meaning of success for me.
Mm. And it's beautifully said. Thank you, Evie. And I'm sure it doesn't mean that salary and promotion is not important for you, but you're looking at it from a different angle and from this horizontal kind of view and much rounded, more rounded than just promotion and salary. That's really, really beautifully said. How about you, Eva?
For me, I think it would be quite similar. So obviously there is some basic some basis like the salary or the kind of the job that I'm doing. So I don't think I would like to change my professional direction very, very strongly. So to go into totally opposite direction. So so those are the basic factors that I know that I do what I want to do, and I'm getting paid for that. But there is so many other things that can influence if one can feel satisfied. Like for instance, the relationships within the team with whom I am working with. if there is something wrong going in that area, it could be very hard, especially if it goes into wrong directions, like against the law and so on. But even if the atmosphere is only impacted in a way that people just don't like each other, it might be very unpleasant. And it's maybe not the thing that the one individual person can influence by him or herself. I have experienced a situation when the relations at work have been impacted by the situation in the company. So if the company is getting through some troubles, like losing contracts, some difficulties within the business, it can influence the relationships at work very hard and in very unpleasant way. And it will be a bit like boiling the frog. So it won't be visible just like that, but after the time, people will start to notice that the things are not going into the wrong directions. So sometimes it may also happen that the success of the company or lack of the success of the company may influence how we feel in this specific workplace. Other than that, an interesting concept for myself, because I was, especially at the very beginning of my professional journey, I was having some troubles with picking the directions. I was very good in very areas. Many things were easy for me, and I was having trouble to decide, okay, what do I want to do? And one way of thinking about it for me was to think about the situation when I don't need to work for money. Let's assume I won the lottery, I have enough money, I don't want to spend my whole day sitting on the couch. What I would like to do then? That's an interesting question that led me to the conclusion back then that most probably I would be doing the same, but maybe for charity organization, some foundation or something like that, instead of a business company. Yeah.
And it's a really beautiful one, Eva, what you're saying, because this is like a standard coaching question as well at the very beginning. What if there were no barriers whatsoever? If money was no barriers, there was no geographical, family, anything, what would you like to do in life? And if you consider no barriers whatsoever, this is an interesting one, because it gets up on the surface what we are really passionate about, on what we really would love to do. And then once we know the answer to this question, then we are trying to work backwards in a way to see what can we do in our life now to incorporate the elements of it, and how we can possibly design a roadmap to get there. And you said that charity, for example, which is a beautiful thing, because you can start in getting involved in charity alongside your paid job, and then moving to it more and more, depending on whether it's, you know, charity, and there are different kind of charities, and you can still make it your paid job in a way. But it's a different conversation. But I think I really like the way you packed it all. And thank you. Frank says, do you want to share what's your definition of success?
Okay. So for me, right, in terms of saying, okay, success, especially in terms of career, I think it will just be simply put where you are happy with where you are. And it doesn't really necessarily have to be about how much you earn at that moment. It doesn't even have to be about the promotion, right? Or your position in that organization. Because at the end of the day, you want to be at a space where both mentally, physically, and your well-being is in top is top priority or is a top-notch position, right? And so it doesn't always come with being at the highest pinnacle of whatever career that you have chosen. It could just be at a place where you do good work, your work is appreciated, you have a purpose where you are.
Thank you, Frances. And it would be ideal if we were also paid a lot for this meaningful work. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, ladies, very much. Let's go further and see what we can do to be more fulfilled beyond promotion and salary, to incorporate everything that you were talking about, to have a fulfilling career being meaning being happy, but also being rewarded for it. So I suggest let's start with presence, because for women, being present can counteract the biases and can enhance credibility and authority in professional setting. And what do I mean by that? And apologies for this really busy slide, but this I don't know how to structure the slide a different way so it's like floating rather than all at once at you. But let's go through it very, very quickly. What I mean by presence and why I'm saying presence is important. Presence means being fully engaged and completely focused and engaged in the moment. It means being mindfully aware of our thoughts, feelings, and surrounding without judgment. And that's very, very much in line with the three of you were saying. What do I think about it? How I feel about what I do. And this awareness is key to establishing or to design, to realizing what we really want, what matters for us and what doesn't. Connected communication for presence is very, very important. Our confidence, our own confidence, how we project confidence and leadership through our body language and eye contact. And of course, reducing distractions. So presence is very, very important, especially in work. And I know how difficult it is to achieve. It takes just one little thing that will throw us out of kilter. And I was thinking about it when I was designing this deck for you, because I have a sick child at home and he has fever and everything and is really, really not well. And I couldn't focus on this one and on him at the same time. And of course, when the worst comes to the worst, he's my highest priority. So I was thinking and writing about presence, and at the same time thinking, oh, I'm not fully present now because there is something else that is distracting me. So there will always be distractions, but let's be mindful about being fully present. And why it matters. Of course, it enhances mental clarity, our relationships and productivity. Why relationships? Because we are not distracted by anything when we are liaising or connecting with people. It's about focus and being in this moment. It's not about appearance, which presence very often is mistakenly taken for. And it allows for better communication across cultures, I think, because if we are mindful and present and listening to others, it's easier to understand and to connect on various levels. And of course, closely attending to others fosters empathy. So this is why I would suggest we all start with presence. Strategies for improving are very basic: active listening, confident body language, eye contact, minimizing distractions. And this is what I'm guilty of many times. I just need to get used to having my phone, for example, in a different room altogether, not to get distracted by it when I'm working or talking with people. And be mindful of our facial expressions. It's important as well for presence. And it doesn't mean to be smiling or laughing all the time, even when you don't feel like it, but just being mindful of how what kind of vibe you project on others. So that's one thing. Let's start with presence, because this is a vital and important thing to knowing what we want, to knowing what we want to achieve, to connecting with others on that level, and to achieve the goals that we want. Now, speaking about goals. So the next thing is to know what we want and set those clear, measurable, and achievable goals. And some of you might have heard me saying, maybe about, or Frank says, that achievable is one thing, but I'm a very big fan of stretched goals, going out of our comfort zone. Because achievable is one thing, it's very, very important, but let's aim higher. We need to align our goals with values and aspirations, and all of you were mentioning it. Integrity was coming across a lot, what you're saying, and it's very, very important. So you do consider your values and career aspirations when setting your goals, and why and how. Like, for example, if you know that, I don't know, I've mentioned that this series already, I know I would never want to work for a tobacco producing company. That's one of my values. So once I know this is what I deeply care about, health, of my health and health of others, that's my value. That means it will never be my goal to work for a tobacco company, even if it was, I don't know, offering a lot of money and a good position. And again, it could be different thing for everyone, like value. If someone values innovation, their goal may be to develop a new product or anything, you know. Okay. So that's goals. Setting goals is one thing, but tracking progress is another. Journals or visual trackers, and celebrating milestones, because we are all very good at just running with it, but we rarely stop to say, well done you, well done me. Do use feedback and adaptation. Ask people how you deliver on your goals, and then adapt your goals when necessary, because there will be different goals at different stage of life and different stage of your career. And accountability is important. Find accountability buddy and mentors, because it's usually much easier when you tell someone about your goals, and this person can help you or hold you accountable for it. And it can work both ways. You can do the same for this person who you trust and who you respect. So we are talking about presence, to start with presence, then about goals, and the next one is finding meaning. Finding meaning is very, very important for your own career satisfaction. Aligning your career with your purpose, what you want to achieve in life. And then we go back to our core values: growth, innovation, sustainability. If your career doesn't match with your values, sooner or later, no matter what, there will be this misalignment, will hurt you and will be haunting you. So this is an important thing to say. At some point in my career, my own values were in misalignment with my corporate work, a corporate work which I loved for so many years and which I still value a lot. But at some point, what was happening was not necessarily very much aligned with what I value at this point in my life. So I decided to switch careers because it was no longer sustainable. Now, it takes time. It took me a while to decide to make this decision. When I was ready, I decided that's it. I just don't want, because it's costing me too much. So that's really, really important. Passion project exploration is typically the next step, because if you know that something is misaligned with your values, you want to pursue something else. But also, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It may still be aligned with your values, but you may not be very feel very fulfilled anyway, because something may be simply boring. So it's useful to explore possibilities to engage in activities that spark joy and purpose, either in work or outside work, because in work there may be projects that will not be necessarily your primary objectives, but you still can get involved in it. Impact assessment. do evaluate how your current role aligns with your values and the impact that you want to make. And of course, then analyze your skills and strengths to find career paths that use them. And again, you can always improve your skills, but do always play to your strengths. I'm not a big fan of fixing things that don't work, like, and I don't mean it to sound bad, but and oftentimes in the corporate world, we focus a lot on what's not working and how we can improve things, areas for improvement. And I mean in a performance, our own performance. But I'm a fan of building on strengths, finding our zone of genius, and being in a role that leverages this zone of genius. Informational interviews, this is a really good thing if we, I have a couple of clients now who want to pivot to a different career, specifically because they don't find value in what they do. Like one of the client is in the corporate world, and what she is doing now is still interesting, but she believes it doesn't add value in the way that she would like to add value to the world, like support disadvantaged communities, for example, or working with more for the community and the society. And then the question is, how do we then match it, and how do we pivot, and how do we find what we want to do? So once we have this big feeling that I want to be have more impact on my community, for example, or on disadvantaged communities, or something similar to it, then do find people who work in those areas already. Ask them for a discussion, for a quick discussion. Surprisingly, a lot of people agree very quickly when you ask them via LinkedIn, for example. I really admire what you do and I like your career path. Would you have some time for me to share? And you don't need to know this person. Do reach out, because that's the only way to find out, to explore. Meaningful work and satisfaction, impacting spark. Yes, identify how your work contributes to a larger cause or purpose, if this is important for you. And seek opportunities to learn, grow, and master your new skills within the role. Connecting and collaboration is also important. And of course, personal values alignment. This is what we are talking about here today. Yes, celebrating achievements is important. Recognizing and celebrating, because we are very good at recognizing what is not working well and dwelling on it and being very unhappy if something didn't work out for us. But we don't usually put so much energy into celebrating what went well. We take the good things for granted, which is not fair on us. Okay, so now I will share, I will state the obvious, but I still want to show it to you, because oftentimes we fall into the trap of thinking, yeah, in the corporate world, what kind of value is it for the entire, I don't know, society, community? Because there are roles that are traditionally regarded as roles that bring a lot of value, and some are just different. I would argue that there is, in every role, provided you like it, you can find meaning. So this is another big one, because I couldn't find a way to split it. But if you look at these examples here, and it's of course obvious that a teacher empowers students to, from unprivileged backgrounds, for example, finding purpose in fostering education and opportunity. This is one of the obvious ones. Teacher or a nurse, for example. But look at the different another ones, like entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur, you can create a company that provides ethical production practices, or fair wages, or anything like that. So you can be an entrepreneur in the area which you find useful to the community, to the society. Similar in every other field, like technical leader. developing technology that bridges, for example, I don't know, digital divide, as they say here on this slide, motivated by bringing people together and creating more connected world. But the reason why I'm sharing this slide is because, again, from my experience working with my clients, I often hear people saying, I work in the corporate world, I'm an analyst, and I don't like it anymore because although I'm good at what I'm doing and I normally like it, I don't know how it translates into something good and something useful for the society. But there is a way of finding meaning in every role, provided you can see it and you can see how this can contribute to it. And if you don't, and then it doesn't exist, and you can move, but still within your own line of business, you can move to another company or to a different role that will be adding the value in the way that it's explained on this slide. So what I'm trying to say is that we can look at almost every role the way that it does bring value. You don't need to be a nurse or a teacher necessarily to be to bring and value to the world. Now, yes, happiness at work is another thing that we need to strive to be happy at work because it is linked to professional success. It gives us a lot of productivity boost. It fosters openness to new ideas and willingness to take risks. When we are happy in work, we are more open and therefore more willing to try new things. And of course, it creates resilience as well, because if we are happy, we bounce back from challenges quicker and we are better equipped to handle setbacks. And again, being happy at work means if you are doing something that really is important for you, or at least something that you are not unhappy with. What works? Gratitude practices. I'm a fan of gratitude because oftentimes we forget how privileged we are living in the world where, you know, we have everything we need. And yes, I know there is a lot of areas in the world when it's not safe and it's not peaceful, but still in the world where we live, we have almost everything we need to succeed. So this is something, a simple things that we should be grateful for. Positive affirmations are important as well. Celebrating successes, believing in yourself, seeing good in others, it's all very important. And having healthy work-life balance. And this is a subject that I was covering last week. So what else matters? Is there any comment at this point in time, ladies? Because I've been talking and I give you no space to share any comments or thoughts.
One thing that comes to my mind right now is a slogan from the company that I used to work for. It sounded like people matter, results count. And I think there is some value in there. So it's important to remember that we're all people. Sometimes we might have better days. Sometimes we might have some difficult situations, like you mentioned today with the illness of your child. And basically, it's also important to make sure that we remember about that when we're interacting with each other. At the end of the day, there are results that we must deliver, but the people aspect should be the first one that we're looking at.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eva. It's absolutely a great example, because without people, there will be no results, and we do need to care about each other. I suggest we start with ourselves, because especially we women are very good at looking after everybody else and everything else before we look after ourselves. And we need to look, you know this and the very thing that is always said on the plane. Put your oxygen mask on yourself first, and then whoever you travels with you, like a child or someone who needs help. And it's very, very important because we typically forget about it. People matter, and then people create results. Do start with yourself, and then think about others. Thank you, Eva, for sharing. That's really beautiful.
And I would like to say, totally agree that we sometimes forget that we're people too.
Exactly.
So start with yourself is also important here.
Yeah, very, very important, especially women, because we just, always running to attend to someone else. That's what's expected of women in the society, and women are the managers of the of homes, their own homes, their own families, and so sometimes it just goes unnoticed. So we need to look after ourselves first. Another thing on top of presence and goals and all other things that we are like finding meaning that we spoke about, building positive relationship is also very, very important. And especially for women, it's important because it fuels career advancement. We are good at building positive relationships. We are not so good at leveraging those relationships because we think this is transactional and it's not good. But it's time to change this, because positive relationships are essential for our career advancement and well-being. And it's all about colleagues, mentors, and sponsor at every level of the organization. And speaking about leveraging your network or relationships, networking is very, very important, and making sure that you have a support system around you, because at the end of the day, what gets you promoted, the higher up you go, is not just your knowledge or your hard work. It's also your relationships and people who trust you and believe in you. Yeah. And do seek mentorship opportunities in work, because it's very, very important. Mentors, sponsors, coaches. There is a little difference between the three. Mentor is someone who will advise you what to do in a certain situation. It's useful to have mentors in the work setup. It could be a peer, it could be someone more senior. A sponsor is someone who believes in you, is much more senior, and someone who will be supporting you in your career journey. And coach is someone who empowers you to be able to find the answers that are already in you to a lot of questions. Unlike mentor, who tells you what to do, coach will be working with you and helping you unpack what's already in you and what you cannot see, because it's very difficult for us to see the wood from the trees. We can't do it ourselves. We need someone who is outside of our world and looks at us from a different perspective. So that's important. Engagement and involvement. Now, this is probably stating the obvious, but we need to stay engaged and involved in our work for optimal performance. And here I want to say this something which is important for me, because the moment when I saw or realized that I become disengaged in my work, I knew something was going on. And disengagement is something that shows you that it's either no longer aligned with your values, or no longer aligned with your purpose, or no longer aligned with your goals. And that was the first signal for me when I saw that I was becoming more and more disengaged, and that I cannot convince my team. I cannot convince myself, so how can I convince my team and others around me? So this is why engagement is important, because it can be the first signal for you that this is not necessarily for you, because things that work for you in the past may not work for you now. And once you're engaged, it leads to increased productivity, creativity, and of course, career growth opportunities. And what helps? Of course, alignment with your values and purpose and goals, but also variety and challenge, because something may be perfectly aligned with everything, but it may not be challenging anymore. And if it's not challenging anymore, there is not enough variety, then you are bored and disengaged. Autonomy and ownership. Most of us don't like micromanagers. We like working, being given some space and autonomy and ownership for what we are doing. Regular feedback and recognition. We need to know what people are thinking and of what we do and what we deliver, because we don't operate in a vacuum. And collaboration and teamwork. This could also help in being engaged. But do remember, if all this fails, it means that there is something else going on, and then go back to your values and your purpose. Yes, and this is the one that I really like, overcoming multitasking, because multitasking is not helping with our goals. And I'm talking to you and myself now, because I need to convince myself even more that multitasking is not good. Yes, it has negative impact on productivity and focus, and there are some research that also says that it's not good for our brains. Multitasking, but of course, again, as women, we are so used to multitasking that we don't even see that we are doing it. But it is important to be focused and to do less, but with more focus, than to do more and not even knowing what we have just done or what we are doing. Because sometimes when I do this, I simply forget one thing, go to another, then forget about this one and go to another one. And then at the end of the day, it's really frustrating. What helps with overcoming the myth of multitasking is prioritizing. Of course, minimizing distractions, notifications, clutter on our desk and in our head. And using time management tools. There's this famous Pomodoro technique. There are other techniques that help focus. I have a friend who has, and I really admire her, because I just haven't convinced myself to do it yet, but I will, I think. She has timer on her phone for social media and other applications. So, and to the point where we speak on WhatsApp, she just gets disconnected after, I think, half an hour, because this is how her productivity tools work, to cut her off after half an hour from everything that's not social media related. Very brave, and something to maybe consider. It doesn't have to be half an hour. You can, I suppose, you can do it yourself and decide yourself how much. Yes, so ladies, we are coming to the end, and it's almost the end of our time together anyway. But in conclusion, I still want to ask you what your views are at looking back at the whole thing. But just to conclude, I want to say that we all need to redefine success beyond traditional metrics. And please don't get me wrong, if a promotion or success or salary is the most important thing for you, it's good as well, but at least you know it. That's what matters for me. But if it's not the only thing that matters for you, then you need to define what does. Identify and celebrate personal and professional milestones. They need to go together. Do cultivate a regular reflection practice for growth to see if it's still aligned with your values. Does it still keep you going, and does it still get you in the direction that you want to go? If not, it's not worth staying where you are just for a promotion or a salary. And I'm speaking from my own point of view, because everybody can be in different position in life. I'm just saying that if things are not aligned with what you really, really want or believe in, at some point there will be no amount of money or prestige in the organization that would be able to compensate for that. But it's not impossible to combine those two, but we need to be aware what matters. And empower your journey, develop your own personal plan, sit back and relax and think, what matters for me? Is what I'm doing now aligned with what matters? Do I have, what is my goal? Do I have them defined, my goals? And do what I'm doing now gets me closer to achieving my goals? And if not, what can I do about it? Yeah. Have a mentor, have a coach, have an accountability buddy because it's very, very important not to do it on your own. There is, like, we are all the same. We all have exactly the same challenges, and there will be different, we'll have different goals and objectives in life, but the way to get there is very, very similar for all of us. Yes, consider journaling or coaching to get clarity. This is one of my favorite slides and features every time I speak. And then, how about you? Ladies, thank you for your patience. I would like to hear from you, your final thoughts, or maybe you have questions. I just want to say what I'm saying at the end of each of those sessions is that career planning is an ongoing process, and it's important to remain proactive, intentional about our growth and development. Do remember, if you don't plan your own career, someone else will, or it will just happen by default. I wonder if you have questions, and I will yes, join my community or book a call with me. I would love to hear from you. This is something that I always forget about at those sessions. But I will stop sharing now, and I will ask you for feedback. Evie, I can't hear you.
You can hear me because I can't see you.
Yeah. We can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I just want to thank you, to thank you, Isabella. Thank you so much, because right now I'm in the place where I need to redefine my career, where I want to go, what I want exactly. So thank you so much for this moment, and thank you also to Eva and Francesca. I hope to hear and to see you very, very soon.
Thank you so much, Evie. Thank you for joining. And please do book a call with me. And it's like a no obligation free call when we can discuss where you're at and what you need and where you how we can help you get there. It's always easier with when someone else looks at your challenges, because we all have similar challenges. So please do get in touch, and I will be really, really happy to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Eva, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's just similar to Evie just said for me. I mean, I'm at the moment at the place or in time when I need to sit down and redefine the goals for me and set up some new goals. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is your meetings are really great food for thought for me. So they help me to provide some structure in that thinking process.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
And thank you so much, Eva. And again, do hop on a call and we can discuss it. We are all the same. I've been there so many times in my life, and lately, a couple of years ago, with this very, very big change. I think the most important thing for us is to consciously go about our goals and to consider what we want from life. And they say, you know, this saying that the first best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The next best time is now. So please, please do that. Frank says, do you want to share with us, or do you need to drop off now? Because I know you will have to drop off soon. Yeah, Frank says has to go drop off because she has another meeting at the top of the hour. Ladies, thank you so much, both of you, Evie and Eva. As I say, typically we have about 14, 15 people at those sessions, but I appreciate you for joining, especially in the holidays time and the lunchtime. Thank you so much, and do get in touch.
Okay, see you.
Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.